If you're thinking about joining eXp, or if you're just curious about how the business model works, today I'm going to talk about the 8 things that really surprised me about eXp Realty, and I'm also going to touch on the 3 things that kind of disappointed me as well. Now I'm going to cut through all the nonsense and just give you the facts, and there's a ton of people giving misleading information and just kind of wrong information out there, so I'm going to cut through all that, give you my honest thoughts and the facts. First one is that a lot of people think it's just a recruiting-based brokerage, but over 90% of real estate agents in eXp Realty don't do any recruiting at all, which means that they're out there just being real estate agents, just selling houses. A lot of people switch over to eXp just for the opportunity to have access to KV Core, which is an incredibly powerful CRM, and it can send out ads and create landing pages to attract buyers and sellers. And that right there could cost you thousands of dollars per year. And other people also want to come for other tech that we have, like we use SkySlope that sends out documents really quick and easy. In my opinion, it's actually better than DocuSign. So SkySlope has been a big bonus for me personally. There's a lot of people that are here for the competitive split and the cap. And the other thing about that blows my mind, that we're here in 2023 and there are people that are still at brokerages with no cap. What are you doing at a brokerage that doesn't have a cap? Are they really worth $30,000, $40,000 to pay them every year? For me, one of the major things that made me want to join was being able to hit your cap, and then you do 20 transactions beyond your cap and reach that icon agent status. And then you have the ability to get your entire cap back in company stock. That $16,000 that you paid in over the year, you now get that $16,000 back in company stock for free. I had even brought that up to my broker as one of the reasons why I wanted to transition over when I was at my previous brokerage. And he tried to dismiss that, saying that the stock price could go down over time. Well, first of all, the stock price is not going anywhere. And let me just throw a hypothetical scenario at you. Let's say I get my full cap back at $16,000 and I get that in company stock, and there's a 3-year vesting period, so I can't sell it for 3 years. And let's just say, for the sake of argument, that stock price drops by 50% and goes down to an $8,000 value. Well, guess what? That's still $8,000 that I didn't have before. The argument that the stock price could drop over time is completely irrelevant because it's free money that they're giving you back. Also, don't quote me on this one, but I'm pretty sure you could use that stock devaluation as a tax write-off. So let's say recruiting just isn't for you, which is totally fine. It's not for a lot of people. That whole deal with the stock option is absolute proof that you can benefit fully from the eXp business model without even recruiting one single person. Now, if you are interested in recruiting a little bit, eXp's revenue share is going to be very attractive for you. Previously, I was at Keller Williams and they have a similar model to the revenue share, but they actually call it profit share. I used to ask people all the time exactly how the profit share even worked, and it seemed like nobody could really fully explain it to me, but it's something along the lines of all the revenue that goes back to the company from the company splits. They use that money to pay the executives and turn on all the lights and pay out bonuses and everything like that. And if there's anything left over, they distribute that back out to the agents depending on how much company dollar you were responsible for pulling in. The thing is, there's no actual way to even figure out what that amount is going to be. The eXp revenue share model is a little bit more defined, and I actually appreciate that a lot better because I like to just clearly know what things are going to be up front. Here's how it works. Let's say you have a friend who wants to get into real estate on the other side of the country, and they join eXp under you, and now you're their sponsor. When they get a house sold, 80% of that is going to go to them and 20% of that is going to go to eXp. That's the eXp split 80-20. Out of that 20%, the eXp company is going to take half of it. They're going to take 10%. That other 10%, that is going to be distributed back to the downline. Half of all the money that eXp gets from their splits goes back to the agents. That right there can be incredibly powerful in itself and can provide you with some long-term passive income streams. All right, the third thing that kind of surprised me about eXp was the power of the cloud-based brokerage. Now, I'm sure you've probably seen some videos of the eXp world, and it almost looks like a video game where you're running around and you can go into people's offices virtually. At first, I thought it was really goofy, and I just didn't want anything to do with it, to be honest. But then I actually had to use it, and I really saw the utility in it. I needed some help from a broker with getting something set up, and I logged into the eXp world, and I virtually walked over to the broker's office and I took a little number and I waited for my turn to be called and had a meeting with the broker in just a couple minutes. It wasn't hours. I didn't have to drive into the office and wait for the broker to come back from lunch or finish dealing with a client. I just literally did it in a couple minutes. And I did it from the comfort of my home in my pajamas. The other thing that we really like about eXp is the document upload process for compliance. At Keller Williams, when we had to upload our documents and get all of our paperwork for our transaction squared away, there was one or maybe two people that were looking over the documents, and a lot of times it took a day or sometimes two turnaround just to get the specific documents that we needed to move our transaction along. And now that we're here with eXp, everything's in the cloud and there are literally hundreds of people whose job it is to help you move your transaction along. So anytime you upload something or you're trying to get an answer for that paperwork, a lot of times just minutes, sometimes hours, but not days like it is at a brick and mortar brokerage. All those little time savings may seem irrelevant at the time where you're just kind of shaving off minutes here or there, shaving off hours here and there using the cloud-based brokerage. But if you think about it, all those time savings you're going to have are going to multiply as the years go on, and you're going to be able to take that time, reinvest it back into yourself, back into your business, reinvest it into your family for personal time. You get to have that time back for yourself. It's like the equivalent of you go to your local Coldwell Banker office down in town and there's literally hundreds of people who are there for your tech support, helping you move your transaction along, compliance, multiple brokers that you could talk to at any time, all for less of a price than whatever your local brokerage is charging. It just is absolutely unmatched. The fourth thing that I wanted to talk about is that brand is really completely irrelevant. A lot of people think you need to be with Sotheby's International, or you need to be with Berkshire Hathaway, or you need to be in some kind of well-known brand that everybody recognizes. The truth of the matter is, nobody really cares. Your deals are not coming to you because of your brokerage name. Your deals are coming to you because who you are. Most people don't care about your brokerage. They only care that you care. They just want to know if you care about their situation. If somebody does ask what company you're with, that gives you a great opportunity to start going through all the benefits of why it would be great to work with you as an eXp agent. You can talk about how streamlined everything is and about how you have this massive network of other agents that you're working with that will help you along in the process and connect you with buyers across the country. Really just gives you an opportunity to show the customer your value. Now, I kind of touched on this a little bit a few minutes ago, but the fifth thing I wanted to talk about is that the support at eXp is unmatched. And we're not just talking round-the-clock tech support and brokers. I mean other agents actually working together, actually trying to help each other. Let me ask you this. If you go down into your local brokerage, do you really think that another agent, a high-producing agent in your office, is going to be super excited to share with you their winning listing presentation? Do you think that agent-to-agent collaboration is really incentivized at your local brick and mortar brokerage, or really in the back of everyone's mind, is it kind of seen like competition? The group I'm in has over 1,200 agents in who are out there crushing it all over the United States, Canada, and a few other countries. And because we have the ability to connect over this crazy thing called the internet that people are starting to use here in 2023, eXp has now figured out a way to truly incentivize agent-to-agent collaboration. I just want you to think about how powerful that is for 1 second. You go into your Facebook group that has our 1,200 agents in it, and you just throw out there, hey, I need help with a listing appointment. I have no idea where to go. And boom, you suddenly have a wave of people who are literally going to help you out. The sixth thing I wanted to talk about is that the opportunity at eXp is much greater than you probably realize. While eXp is a pretty well-developed company now, it is still exponentially growing, and you have an opportunity to get in on that exponential growth and just benefit from it as long as the years go on. I just want you to think about for a second how tech reliant we are as a society. And when all these younger people start to get their real estate licenses and they're looking at brokerages to join, do you think they are going to go with the old brick and mortar brokerage with a dirty sign that has letters hanging off of it? No. They're going to go with a quicker, more streamlined, a tech experience that they can do from the comfort of their own home. Number 7 is that the training is just far superior to any other brokerage out there. At a lot of brick and mortar brokerages, you might have the broker in charge of training while he's even trying to run his own business and doing agent onboarding and doing everything else. Or you might have just like a few people in charge of training, or maybe that one really old crusty agent is in charge of training. The problem with that is that if you just have one person or just 1 or 2 people, you get such a limited perspective and such a small worldview lens to look through, and you really won't be able to expand your horizons. That's all you're going to know is that limited perspective of that whatever town that you're in. With eXp, the training is done by agents all around the world who have reached icon status, which means that they've reached their cap and then they've sold 20 units beyond their cap. And I just want you to think about for a second how extremely powerful that is. You have agents who are out there crushing it, getting houses sold, doing tons of business, and they are the ones that are giving that knowledge down to you. That means you get 8 hours a day or more of training that is just more training than you could possibly deal with from experienced agents from all sorts of different walks of life, different city sizes and different types of markets and luxury and new construction, everything you could possibly imagine. Now, a lot of people are going to disagree with me on number 8, but it really does matter who you join with under eXp. There's going to be a lot of people that say, oh, just join eXp. It doesn't really matter. Just pick a sponsor. Just get in there. But that could not be farther from the truth. You could join eXp with a sponsor that doesn't have any real benefits, but we have a private group of over 1,200 agents who are incentivized to work together. There's 4 weekly mastermind calls with agents who are absolutely crushing it, willing to teach you everything about how they grew their business. There's massive social media trainings on every single platform, complete marketing and brand overhauls to give you all the materials to get your business started. Just that social media training alone sells on its own for thousands of dollars, and that's just one of the many free benefits you get of joining our group. Whether it's my group or a different group, it really doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is that you join the group that is best for you, and before you jump into one, just make sure you join a group that is going to give you tons of benefits. All right, now we're going to talk about the 4 things that I don't really like about eXp. The first thing is that a lot of people out there are missing out on huge opportunities because there's other people who are putting out kind of misleading or bad information. And it's really unfortunate. And when I first heard about eXp, when I got licensed, I didn't really take it seriously. I thought I needed a brick and mortar brokerage to succeed, but what started happening was anytime I had a problem, I started going online anyways. And my brokerage I was at with Keller Williams, there was just not a lot of online presence, and the people that were online, like I said, they didn't really have an incentive to really help me. I remember there was one time when I just wanted a net sheet, and I have a great video on how to do a net sheet, and that's because when I asked somebody in my brokerage for a net sheet, they gave me this huge document that was like 4 tabs of an Excel spreadsheet that wasn't even formatted, and the whole thing was a disaster, and it was just bad. And I couldn't get anybody there to share their listing presentation. That was like their secret weapon that they were holding close to the vest. You know, they didn't want to show me their cards. So I had to go and find that answer out online as well. So what I started finding is that anytime I had a problem, I was going online for my solutions anyways, but I didn't have the network that I have now. So it was a lot harder to find those answers back then. That brings me to the second thing that kind of disappoints me about eXp is that while there are like 90% of agents that don't recruit, that means there's like 10% of agents that do recruit. And very early on, I was very off-put by the amount of messages and everything that I would get in my inbox of just people bombarding me and asking me to join under them for eXp. And it was an absolute pain, and I hate being told what to do. So even just that and by itself made me not even want to join eXp at all. Now, the result of that is you have a ton of agents who are like me who put off even just looking into eXp for so long, and I just wish that I would have joined years ago. I would have saved so much money. I would have made so much more money. In my old brokerage, I probably have $24,000 just in coaching that realistically, if I would have got in with a good group of people, I could have got all of that and more for free. And the third thing that disappoints me is that there's a lot of false hope out there about the eXp model. And while there are great benefits, like the revenue share is a great benefit and the stock options and all that, there are people who are putting out a lot of false hope, like saying that they're making $20,000 a month on revenue share and that eventually they're going to be making $1 million a month on revenue share, when it's just not going to happen. There's people who are very, very high up in the eXp line and they're not getting close to that. So you just got to really be careful with the information that you're taking in. You can just go on the eXp Realty website and take a look for yourself, and they lay everything out there. What I'll say is, like I said, I wish I would have joined sooner. That's really all I can say. For a very long time when I was with my coach, I used to ask him frequently, I would say, hey man, do you really think that Keller Williams is the absolute best model for me long term? Like, what about this eXp thing? And he used to tell me up and down. He would say, no man, Keller Williams is the best place for you. You need to stay at Keller Williams forever. What really matters is that I did join eXp and I could not be happier about the switch. And for me and my personality type is the perfect place for me. If you want to know a little bit more about eXp, maybe leave a comment below and we could possibly set up a Zoom or something like that just to kind of go over eXp if you want to. And I hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you in the next one. Have a great day.